Now this Forbes magazine in 2013, that's about 9 years ago, they published as usual the list of important people. And now interestingly, Forbes also has the division that for women entrepreneurs, women section of the people, they publish separately, and for men also they publish separately. So in 2013, they published in India in the women's section, 2 women prominently. One was the most successful woman in India, and the second was the most influential and powerful leader among women in India. The most successful businesswoman of the year went to the current head of ICICI Bank at that time. She was the MD or CEO of that ICICI Bank. And for past several years, she had been heading the ICICI Bank, and I think she had got Padma Bhushan Award also, one of the topmost civilian awards in India. And she had led the bank in a very wonderful way, increasing the profits and the presence and so many things, so many factors they had considered in. The Forbes magazine has a very rigorous way of analyzing and ranking the different business people and then coming to the final conclusion. And this lady had also been ranking in the world top business women. And in the world ranking of the businesswoman, she was ranking higher than even Sonia Gandhi. At that time, 2013, 2011 and all that, the UPA was in power in India. So Sonia Gandhi was a very prominent and powerful politician in India. Sonia Gandhi's name is also there in the top 100 most powerful businessmen or most powerful personalities, not businessmen, both compared to both politicians and businesswomen. So Sonia Gandhi's name is also there on that ranking of the top 100. But this woman was ranking even higher than Sonia Gandhi. She was so powerful. So she was, because of her achievements and the way she had led ICICI Bank very successfully over the last several years and all that, the Forbes magazine gave her that award in 2013. This lady was Chanda Kochar. And 5 years later, by 2018, she was dismissed from ICICI Bank for some fraud she had conducted. And now, currently, there is a money laundering case running on her, on Chanda Kochar, and any moment she may be arrested. That's the kind of situation she is in. Now, interestingly, in 2013, same year, another woman also made it to the most influential and powerful woman leader in India. She had started her career as a very small accountant in 1985. And then, in the 1990s, when the whole Harshad Mehta scam happened, all of you might remember, it was a very big scam. At that time, in India, there was only one stock exchange, which was the Bombay Stock Exchange, BSE, what is popularly known as. So after the scam, the government decided that we have to set up an alternative stock exchange where all the loopholes which are there in Bombay Stock Exchange, because of which was exploited by these kind of people, and such a big scam was created, all that should be avoided. So they came up with the idea of setting up a stock exchange in Delhi called National Stock Exchange, NSE. And to set this up, this woman was given the charge to set up this whole thing. And there was the whole team, lot of people working, day and night they were working, and within a very short time, they managed to set up NSE on a technological platform far more advanced than BSE. And within a very short time, that NSE grew with a lot of companies participating in it, and it became very successful. Very, very successful. And in recognition of this, this woman who was behind the whole thing, by 2012 or 13, she became the CEO of NSE. She became the CEO. And so in 2013, the Forbes magazine represented her as the most powerful and influential woman leader in India. The reasons given were her leadership qualities and the way she has struck a fine balance between the commercial interests of NSE and the regulatory requirements, and how she has set up a foolproof mechanism by which no scams can happen and all these kind of things. So a lot of accolades for her for setting up a very robust system where all the scams can be avoided, and anybody who is trying to go against the regulations of the stock exchange can be easily captured and punished and all those kind of things. And this lady was none other than Chitra Ramakrishna. And 9 years later, 2022, we know what is the status of Chitra Ramakrishna. She is facing arrest. Any moment she can be arrested. And she herself, who was the CEO of NSE, which is supposed to have struck a fine balance between commercial requirements and the regulatory requirements and set up a robust scam-free system, herself conducted a big scam in the National Stock Exchange. And she is in the dock now, a very bad condition. So you see how in this material world, like Prabhupada is mentioning in this purport, the media plays a very big role in glorifying and propping up people in this material world. And temporarily, it creates some results. Everybody at that time in 2013, all Indians would have been very proud. Look, Indian women are doing very well, and they should be given more representation in the society, etc., etc. And Chanda Kochar was, she was the best businesswoman, such a wonderful business leader she is. And the whole National Stock Exchange set up by a woman. And, both of them were glorified, and they were the blue-eyed girls of the Indian society. And look, finally what happened? Both of them are scam-ridden, and both of them dismissed from their positions, and now in a very disreputable condition they are in. This is the nature of this material. Of course, it's not that it is only limited to women. So many men also, it would have happened like this. Similarly with politicians also, so many politicians are glorified by the media, like Prabhupada is mentioning. So some totally unqualified, insignificant politician, the media will prop him up and make him very, like as if he's a very influential leader in the society. Whereas internally it will be all dabba, it will be all empty. But they will prop him, oh, so he is the leader, he is the president of this party, he is the president of the biggest opposition party, his words are so important, and they will glorify and they will prop him up and all these kind of things. But all these things, actually speaking, they can actually bring about no good for the society. This is the reality. Prabhupada is mentioning here, sometimes political leaders of a particular party are also advertised by newspaper propaganda. And by such a method of glorification, an insignificant man becomes an important man within no time. But such propaganda by false glorification of an unqualified person cannot bring about any good, either for the particular man or for the society. We may pride ourselves saying that, oh, Forbes, they have such a rigorous and robust system of identifying the most powerful people, the most successful businessmen, and they have a very robust system of qualification, and that's how people get on that board, very reputed. To get on the list is very difficult, and if you get on the list, it is like a great award for you. All these things we may say, but ultimately see what is the result. Nobody talks about all these things. That 5 years later, 9 years later, you are in the dock, you are in prison, you are facing all kinds of corruption cases against you, But, Forbes business continues. 5 years, 9 years down the line, Forbes would have forgotten all those people and new people it is propping up. And the people who are being propped up in 2022, 5 years, 9 years later, we don't know what is their position. So that's the nature of this material world. So why is it like this? Because in the Shastras, in the Vedas, it is said, Yasyasi Bhagavati Bhakti Rakyanchana Sarvair Gunais Tatra Samasate Suraha Harava Bhaktasya Kuto Mahadguna Manorathena Sati Dhavato Bahihi. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is saying that one who has unflinching faith in Krishna, Yasyasi Bhagavati Bhaktir Akinchana, one who has Ankinchana Bhakti to Krishna. Akinchana means, Kinchana means something. Akinchana means absolutely nothing. So one who has absolutely no other activity than rendering devotional service to Krishna. Akinchana Bhakti. One has no other activity, one has no other desire, one has no other attachment, one has no other attraction than to Krishna, than to the service of Krishna. So one who has akinchana bhakti to Krishna, one who has undiverted, undeviated, unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service to Krishna, what happens to such a person? Sarvair gunai satra samasate suraha. Suraha means demigods. So all the gunas of all the devatas, all the wonderful good qualities of all the devatas, meaning the most elevated personalities, the most glorified personalities in this world, in this material world, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are all highly glorified, highly respected. All the good qualities of such highly respected, the most respected people become manifest without separate endeavor in a devotee who has akinchana bhakti to Krishna.